Hello everybody, my name is Marlowe and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Survival, where I've not long finished doing a reasonably long AFK session here at the Guardian farm, which we built in the last episode. And I'm over here farming these drops. Farming is maybe a bit of a stretch, standing still while the farm does the farming. And I've been doing that in order to get lots and lots of ink sacks, as well as some of these shards here to craft up some dark prismarine, which we're going to be using in this episode today. We are, of course, going to be using other blocks alongside dark prismarine, but I'm just enjoying the fact that we now have a guardian farm in this world, and I'm actually able to use that block. I can't say I really have all that much before, so you're definitely going to be seeing dark prismarine in a lot of my builds. There we go, 8 stacks of dark prismarine plus some of the other blocks we're able to craft with these items. That should be good enough for today's episode. So today we are going to be building ourselves a super smelter, finally. This has been a long overdue building because whenever I need to smelt things, I've just been using this, which kind of is a super smelter in of itself, but it's not a very good one. So today I want to build something a bit bigger and a bit better, as well as a lot nicer looking too. We are of course going to be making a building to go around the super smelter and cover it up entirely. I'm in a slight predicament at the moment. I'm not exactly sure where to build the super smelter. The base of the building is about 11 blocks by 17, and all of the open spaces we have left in our mountain range here for this specific area are too small for that. For example, we have a spot here just at the end of this bridge, which wouldn't fit it on, but I do definitely want to build something over here. We have a spot right here in between the bee factory and our blacksmith over here. The trouble is, if I build anything too large, it's going to block the view we have of our survival base, which, as I've mentioned previously in the series, is my favorite thing about this area. Like, come on, I can't block that view. It's just too good. So I'm left with two options. Option one is I expand out to this part of the mountain, which I don't think I'm ready for just yet. That's too big of an undertaking for right now. So really I'm left with one more option, which is to build it right here. Now you may be thinking, this is an awful spot to make a large building on, and yes, you would be correct in its current state, but if we just head down to this level for example, if we flattened it all out to this level that we're currently stood on top of, I reckon we should be able to squeeze it in, just about. I think I'm going to test it before I do any major terraforming, and I'm going to do that with this stick right here. This stick holds a very magical power, and that is, it's what you need to control the mod like Matica, which I've been mentioning quite a lot recently in this series. I've been finding it super helpful for copying my buildings over instead of using screenshots. So what I'm going to do is get the schematic up in this world and just make sure it'll fit on before I go away and tear apart half of this mountain. I'm trying to go careful here because I don't really want to show you the entire build because I've got it right next to me here in ghost form, but I'm happy to say it fits on sort of. It's going to need quite a bit of terraforming. As you can see around the back here, it's floating at the moment, but that's fine. I can probably bring the mountain up around the back here, which is okay. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure it actually would fit on, so now I guess I'm all good to go. Well, not exactly. I need to gather the resources and then I'll be good to go. To be fair, I actually have pretty much everything I need with the exception of crimson wood. That's going to be a main block in this build and this is all I have to my name. So super quick, we got to take a trip to the nether. Well, hello. How are you doing? I see you guys have made it into the nether. This donkey, and I guess this pig too, have been wandering around my mountain for a really long time, and I haven't seen them in a couple of days, and now I know why, because they walked into the portal. Maybe I should get you guys back through. And a 1, and a 2 come back here. Come on guys, it's a lot safer this way, trust me. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, I don't want to die. No, donkey! No! 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 Oh, I feel so sad. I was waiting to tame that donkey and make him a build, And now he's just suffocated in a wall. I should have left him in the nether. It was his choice. Oh, what a sad start to this episode. I have the remains with me. I will keep these stored safely, and if we've got time later, we'll put them in a little grave somewhere. Well, life goes on, Piggy. We gotta head back in and get ourselves some crimson wood. I have made it to the Crimson Forest, albeit a really small one. I'm sure it expands elsewhere, but to be honest with you, I don't really need a whole ton of this wood. In fact, if I just chop down all of the trees that I can see right now, that probably should cover me. Sir, I'm sorry, but I just have to do it. Over 4 stacks of crimson should be good enough. If I need more, I can always come back. Something I do want to check out at some point in time is this bastion, or not this specific one, but a bastion, because there's multiple in my nether and I haven't been round any of them. So maybe if we've got some time left over at the end of this episode, we can maybe head here and check it out, see if we can find ourselves a copy of Pigstep. Well, I'm going to round up the rest of my resources here, and then we can get started on the Super Smelter build, which is going to be replacing those ghost blocks right there. Another little sneak peek for all of you. I'm not quite sure why I'm being so secretive. The entire build is in the thumbnail of this video. It's just a habit, I suppose. So there we go, everybody. What do you guys think about the new build? I personally really love it. It honestly might be one of my favorite builds we've done so far in this series. I just love how animated it looks. There's loads of little parts to this build which really bring it all together. So maybe one at a time, let's go through and I can kind of explain what I'm imagining they are. Some will be more obvious than others, like this windmill at the top. We have a bit of a steam device here. I'm not exactly sure what it would be doing, but you can see we got some fire down at the bottom there, which is just a campfire, very simply, but you can't really see it. You can just see the flame, which I like, and it's putting smoke into this pipe going inside the building. Unfortunately, when the interior is done, it's not actually going to lead anywhere, but you can't really tell that from the outside, so it's okay. But yeah, I really wanted to go heavy on the steampunk with this build, so I thought it made sense to have something a little bit steam related. I'm not too sure what this one is meant to be, but grindstones just make for a really nice detail block. Possibly it could be some sort of rotary system taking things in and out of the building. I'm not sure. Gotta use your imagination with that, I think. Round the back we have this thing, which maybe isn't so obvious, but basically the copper part of it is cogs, right? That's what they are. They would spin around and around, and then the jungle trapdoors and maybe some sort of strap, almost like a treadmill of sorts. I think that's probably the best real life counterpart, but that was spin, kind of sending this on a continuous loop, and in theory if this did move it would look really animated and we'd have a lot going on around here, but it doesn't. It's perfectly still, so once again got to use some imagination there. But yeah, I do really quite like how that looked. I think it brings the back together quite nicely. And then the last addition for now is our rail line, which I've actually completed. So let's maybe head inside and you can see the trip that this minecart is going to take. Let's have a quick check for mobs. I think we're all good. This is what the inside looks like at the moment. By the way, we're definitely going to add some more stuff in later. But I think the best thing to do, Actually, you know what? Will I be able to ride this myself? I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm heavier than a minecart, so it may not work. But the best way to show off might just be to ride the rail ourselves. So if I could get some momentum here on that powered rail, I might need to help it along a little bit here. But we go up here, suffocate a little bit in the roof, drop down onto here, go back inside the building. Obviously, the minecart will not be taking damage. That's just me. Okay, usually it wouldn't get stuck here. I have tested this in my separate world. And then it would continue back this way, go back inside, across the top here, down over this side, and sort of repeat that loop over and over again. Now, time to break it, put the chest in, and make sure it just does one continuous loop. And here it comes, back inside, down there, up here, round the corner, and that's where we started. So, wonderful. I know it works. Also, how good does the crimson look next to the dark oak planks? That is really a killer combination. Crimson is so hard to use because it's such a vibrant and bold color, but along the dark oak with the quartz as well is a lovely contrast on the windmill there, and the deep slate for this section of the roof. I think it really comes together and works nicely. And of course, the regular crimson stem here as our base, also a worthy mention. Now I know what you may be thinking. I was going to build a super smelter in here, right? Well, not exactly. For once, I'm actually going to hide the super smelter away. Usually whenever I make one in my world, I like to have it on show because it's cool to see the minecart running around, right? But we've already got that with this one here. We don't really need any more. Plus, if it's underground, I can make it as big as I want. I accidentally stopped the minecarts from jumping up on the rail here. We might have to just leave it whilst we're building. Actually, I'll place it back down later. Plus, it's kind of loud and annoying, isn't it? So the plan is to have the two starting minecarts here by the entranceway, kind of fenced off around about here on both sides. One for fuel, one for the item I'm going to smelt. And that will just go down underground somewhere in the mountain here, and I don't exactly know where. I am kind of limited on space, I suppose, unless I go really far down, which I could pretty easily. I'll do all that later. For right now, what I want to get done are the rest of the details that we're going to add in to the inside of the building here. As if things weren't animated enough in here, we now have even more. So this is going to be the starting point for our two minecarts. I haven't started work on that yet, but this is where we'll load them off and send them on their way. And this right here in the floor is where all of the items that we smelt are gonna go through, which I love the thought of being able to see in here at all of my items flowing through the floor and then up through this pipe and into this chest here. I do of course still have to link that up when we build the smelter though, because right now, if you can see that down there, it doesn't go deeper than 3 blocks. We also have this fan at the top, which in theory would connect to the windmill. Outside, maybe it has some sort of link or connection. I don't know. Let's just say it spins around and does something. And last but not least, other than a couple of lanterns I added in just for some lighting, we have this, which is almost some sort of like pod or container. And there's nothing we can really put in here because this is a 2x2 area, unless we install some sort of data pack. So those of you who watch the Hermits on the Hermitcraft server, like myself, you will be aware of a data pack that they have where you can move around armor stands. I used it in my old survival world and I just want to suggest possibly using it in this one. I probably won't all that much, other than every now and again for little things like this, because we could just get that data pack, put something in the armor stand, and just have an item on display, sort of like this, right? So if I just chuck a quick pork chop in there, obviously it won't be bobbing up and down, it'll just be stuck in place, but I think it'd be cool to have something on display. Even if that's the only thing we use it for in this world, I think it'd still be worth it. So let me know what you think of that down in the comments below. So now all we've got left to do for this building until it's complete is build the actual super smelter, which is going to be going underground. Now I would like to have a 32 furnace array. I don't really need any more than that, otherwise it's just overkill, and 16 is kind of not enough, so 32 is a very good middle ground for me personally. Now I think if we go far enough down, maybe to, let's say like all the way down here to this level, then we got quite a long stretch along this section of mountain, which that seems like 32 blocks, right? I'm not sure. It's not really important to tell you guys because I'm just going to skip all this out the video, and I'll hopefully be able to get it done pretty smoothly, and I'll show you afterwards. And with that, the super smelter is all done. The last thing we have to do is just place in 2 minecart chests. But before we do that, I figured I'd just head down here and show you what I've done. Fair warning, it's very, very messy. So, the rail line just leads down here, obviously going in 2 separate directions, so they eventually had to kind of dig around a little bit to get to the actual position here where the super smelter is lined up, but they come through in separate rail. Obviously this is for the fuel minecart, and this is for the smeltable minecart, and they go all the way along here, and then all the way back. And then, if I could just, I guess, break this block and sneak underneath, put that back, they eventually end up in this dropper here, and this is an auto dispensing dropper. So if we could just quickly, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get back up in time, but we'll try. I'll put my stone in there, and then if I could try and race it back up, as you can see, it's clicking away, it's going up the soul sand bubble stream, and then hopefully I can race it up the top, and you'll be able to see it flowing through the water stream and eventually going into the chest. Quick check for mobs, but yeah, there you go. You kind of saw the tail end of it a little bit. We're going to do a proper test, and hopefully you can see it a little bit better. The minecart chests are in position, ready to go. This is the fuel side. I've just done a little marker so I don't forget. We got a bunch of coal to go in the furnaces, and I'm just going to smelt up some sand. I didn't know what to use as a label for a smeltable item. I figured sand is going to be something I'm doing quite a lot. So I'm going to send the fuel minecart first, just so it can stock up some of the furnaces. I'm going to hang about for a little while. Whilst we do that, we may as well go ahead and place this minecart back down, get that moving around the build. Let's try that again. Come on, all the way up. There we go. Okay, that one's off. Hopefully it should be back by now. Yep, okay, it's doing a continuous cycle, so we can send the sand on its way. And by the time that makes its way all the way down, hopefully some of the furnaces should start lighting up now. You guys are going to have a better idea than I do right now because I'm too lazy to follow it down there. Plus, I'll get in the way of the minecart if I do that. Maybe we can flick this switch and just check. Yep, that has deposited a whole stack of sand. So each way it goes, it will drop a stack off because there's 32 and 32 back, so 64. And like clockwork, here comes the smelted glass through the water channel in the floor, up down the pipe, and into our hopper chest at the end here. That is really satisfying and really kind of cool. That, however, is not. Why have you stopped, minecart? There was no rail here. That is why. So that took about 4 minutes to get 8 stacks of glass, which is not too bad at all. I know I can make it a whole lot more efficient by doing more furnaces or, not building the smelter really far underground, but honestly, I don't care at all because that was the most fun thing ever to watch. I honestly want to go smelt some more things right now. But I shall not, because it's time to end off the episode. But before we do, there is one important thing that we have to take care of before saying goodbye. And no, it's not going to raid the Bastion. We'll maybe do that next episode. I kind of ran out of time for today. But that is burying our dear friend, the Nether Donkey. He never really had a name, so I guess Nether Donkey will have to do. Nether Donkey, you're gone, but you are most certainly not forgotten. I felt as though I hardly knew you, but something tells me that you knew me more than I could ever know myself. And it's my fault that you're gone. I should have never dragged you back from the Nether. It's where you wanted to be. That's where you belong. That's why your name is Nether Donkey. But instead I thought I was doing what was right, and now you're no more. And I'm sorry. I have no idea where the pig is. By the way, in case you're wondering, Nether Donkey, he may have died too, but I'm not going to make him a grave because I don't want to. One is enough. But yeah, Nether Donkey, I'm sorry. I miss you. I love you. And yeah, that's probably about it. So I've buried the remains down in a chest. Not going to dig up the grave. That feels a little bit disrespectful, but you just have to trust me. The 2 leather is down there. And on that rather somber note, sort of, we're going to say goodbye for today's episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. I've got some string in my inventory here. Going to go coat my roof and get rid of all of the snow. And then I'm going to go to bed because it is really late. And this episode has taken a bit longer to finish up than I thought it would, but that's okay. But anyway, guys, thank you ever so much for watching. Me and Nether Donkey really do appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.